What up, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Black Expat Podcast, coming at you guys live from Taichung, Taiwan. And I'm really excited to be here today because I have a story about one of my favorite places to visit. I've been there 4 or 5 times now, and something crazy that I never thought I'd do, that my best friend talked me into doing, that I'm glad he did talk me into doing it. But before we get into that, y'all know what time it is? Have a drink with me. I know what you're thinking. If you watch episode 10, which you should have watched all the episodes by now, the last time I said I'm not drinking gin and juice again. Well, guess what? I do what I want. I'm an adult, and I did it, because gin and juice is delicious. Shout out to Snoop, sponsor me. Anyway, so one of my favorite places to visit of all time is, as you guys know, if you listen to one of my older episodes, was Australia. I love everything about the place. The people, the food, the environment, the community, the weather, except the wintertime, because I don't like cold weather. But it's an amazing place to go and visit, right? So Patrick one day, he was like, hey, Carl. I'm like, what's up, Pat? He's like, hey, man, you want to go skydiving? I'm like, no, not really. He like, cool, let's do it when we go to Australia. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that, fam. And then we get to Australia. He's like, hey, Carl, I booked this flights to go skydiving. I'm like, all right, man, cool, that's dope. I guess we doing it then. And then we ended up doing it. I kid you not, that's the actual story. Patrick has talked me to a lot of great things, and this is definitely one of them. So again, I'm thinking, when you go skydiving, you're gonna be in a really, really big airplane with like a bunch of people, and you just like jump out of an airplane and you fall out of the sky, and it's this amazing experience. It's kind of like that, but not really. When we got there, you go through your whole safety protocols of how to put on your little thingies to jump out of the airplane, and you're not really in charge of pulling anything because you jump out of an airplane with someone on the back of you, unless you are licensed to jump out of an airplane on your own, which we were not. So that was really cool. Didn't know how that was gonna work, but basically, they tie on to you, you're behind them, you scoot out of the airplane, and you kind of barrel roll out of the airplane. So I was surprised by one thing. The airplane is not that big. It can fit maybe 8 people max. You don't jump out of the back of the plane, you kind of jump out of the side of the airplane. So I thought I was gonna be super nervous when I went skydiving, right? But once we actually walked up to the airplane and we saw it, I was like, man, it's kind of small. For some reason, it made me feel a bit more comfortable because it wasn't this huge airplane we're going to be diving out of. We were only going about 15,000 feet in the air, so it wasn't as scary, quote unquote, as I thought it was going to be. So the moment we kind of got in the back of the airplane, I started to relax. I'm like, you know what? It's 8 other people here. I'm not jumping out of the airplane first. I get to see what it looks like. I get to have a full experience of jumping out of an airplane, and my body felt relaxed, right? And as we went up in the airplane, my stomach didn't drop. I didn't feel nauseous or anything. It was kind of like, you know what? There's only one way to get out of the airplane now, and it's by rolling out of it. So strap in, let's do this. And I got to see Patrick jump out of the airplane first, which was pretty cool. And again, you don't jump out. You kind of just on the edge, and then you kind of roll forward or roll sideways, or however you want to roll out of the airplane. So I was pretty excited to do that. And I was lucky because the guy that was behind me that was helping me jump out of the airplane and then pulling the parachute, which is important because you don't pull that, you will die. He was actually from Taiwan, and I encouraged him to talk to me in English because life was in danger, because he was responsible for my life. I need to make sure I understand everything you're saying. Thank you very much. Let's drink to that. But yeah, so he was like, you know what? Hey, relax. Don't start shaking or anything like that, which I didn't. Shout out to me. He said, hey, we're going to get to the edge. When we get to the edge, I'm going to push you out. I need you to just scoot out with me. And then have your arms like this, right? So when you jump out, your arm's supposed to be just like this. Then he said, I'm going to tap your shoulder twice. When I do that, arms out like this, right? So of course, I heard all of that. This is very important information. But guess what I did? As soon as I jump out of the airplane, just like this, bam, arms wide open. Then I did this, but I got nervous, like, oh my God, will that make us die? It didn't make us die. He was like, you know what? Too late, you already did it. Let it fly, we safe. We're not about to propel us, thank God. Otherwise you would have lost a hand or a finger or arm. But that didn't matter because it was actually a great time. So as you're jumping out, you would think that your stomach would drop or bugs would fly in your mouth. That didn't happen. You kind of just feel weightless. Like, it's a great feeling. Like, I didn't feel nauseous or sick or want to throw up after. It just kind of felt like I was floating in the air. Now, the air really was rushing right into your face. I'm very surprised no bugs flew in my mouth. And it was a cool air kind of feel, right? Because luckily for us, the day that we jumped out of an airplane, the weather was perfect. Not a cloud in the sky, the sun was shining, it was like 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It was an amazing experience, and I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, you just kind of sit there, you jump out, and it's maybe 30 seconds of just falling straight down. Then you pull your parachute up, and then you're pretty much just floating And if you're fortunate enough to jump out of an airplane where there's beautiful scenery, like in Australia, you just kind of look around and you just float on down from the sky until you land on the ground. And you land standing up or on your feet or on your knees. I forget which one, but we landed and we're safe and we're fine. So again, I was surprised by three things. One, how small the airplane was. It was a tiny passenger plane, not a big airplane, which is cool. Two, how much my stomach did not drop. Definitely glad my stomach didn't drop because I do enjoy roller coasters, but I don't like long drops, even though I still do them anyway because they're cool. Whatever. And three, no bugs flew in my mouth. I'm very thankful for that because Australia has a bunch of poisonous and venomous things that can kill you. And I didn't want any hornets or anything falling in my mouth. I was cool. I was fine. It was great. So yeah, if you want to go skydiving, I encourage you to do it. Am I going to do it again? Probably not. Would I do it again if you pay me a lot of money to do it again? Absolutely. Would I do it for free? Nah. I'm cool on that, bro. But yeah, thanks for tuning in to an episode of the Black Expat on YouTube. If you haven't already, check out my podcast, wherever podcasts can be found, and check out a new article I wrote on Medium called The Expat Holiday, COVID edition. Hope you guys are out there staying safe. You guys know how we wrap up each episode. You know what time it is. Have a drink with me. I feel like I need some Endo. Can't get that in Taiwan. I'm not trying to get deported. Yeah.